Well, hello and welcome back to Fluffy Boots Crochet Creations. I'm Naomi. So, you know what? How about we have a talk about vlog? But I don't remember which vlog I'm on. I think it's number 3, part 2, but it might be number 4, part 2. I don't remember. Oh well, here we go. So, it's going to be not like a super long one, but it's going to have a little bit of information because I do have 2 finished objects, but one is, I don't consider it like finished because it still has all of its little tails. I haven't woven them in because I'm bad. Oh well. No, it's more because I was saving. I have tails on another project I need to weave in as well. My blanket for one of my adopted grandkids. Goodness sakes, that was very hard to say. Can you tell I've been recording for a long time today? But I did want to show a few things and kind of update you on a couple of things and show you the finished objects, obviously. So let me just check out my notes real quick. Okay, that was totally not helpful. Have you ever had that happen where you're just like, oh, I'll just check? And then you realize you didn't actually write it down. And then it's like, oh, huh, that kind of sucks. That's where I'm at today. And I'm a little bit punchy because I've been awake for a little while. And all I've had is caffeine. So, what? So, yeah. Anyways. All right. So, I started the soles again, didn't I? Goodness sakes, Naomi Ann. Ugh. All right. If you were here for, I think it was vlog 2 that I did at the beginning of March, I was talking about for March for the, oh, just, never mind. I was going to check something, but I forgot. It's okay. Cool. If you were here for the other video for March, I talked about Judy's monthly make-along, and that's Judy, good sakes, Judy from Judy's Crochet Creation, no, Judy's Creations in Crochet. I knew one of these days I was going to totally mess that up. I'm so sorry, Judy. Okay, for March, we had to match this bird here. Put it right there. Hopefully it's not over my face. I decided to go with the green. Why? Because I love green. I do. And I picked out the yarn for it and I was really excited. I picked out the pattern. I was like, yes, this is what I'm going to do. And then I got a cake of yarn in. And it's like, oh, wait, hold the phone there. I want to do something different instead. Now, I'm not going to say what I'm making because Judy does watch my videos. Hi, Judy. And I don't want to give away the secret. But I had been saying I'm only doing amigurumi this year for the monthlies. Wow, my brain really left there. Okay, I'll be right back. My apologies, I had to go answer a message. So, I'm hoping I'm not going to like repeat myself too much here. I'm pretty sure I know where I was. I'm going to push this back a little bit too. I don't know. I guess it's in the right spot. Phew. Anyways, the monthly. So I got this new cake of yarn from Hobie. It is their Twister, 55% cotton, 45% acrylic. I'm not going to show you the pattern because I want it to be a surprise for Judy. And if I have time, I will try to get an amigurumi done. But it's not even going to be the frog. If I get it done, it's going to be a dinosaur for the same grandkid that I'm making the blanket for. Anyway, anywho's nannies. You ready to see it? It's really pretty. I promise you, it's gorgeous. Now, I got this when they were having a sale. I think it was when it was 30% off. But I fell in love with it. I was actually really surprised that I liked this color. I bought it for Dee's Creative Hands. Dee's Creative Hands and Crochet. I can't remember. I'm getting really tired, so my brain's kind of like leaving me. Anywho's nanny. For she has a make along coming up called Hippy Dippy. Hippy Dippy something. And I thought, ooh, I'm going to buy a color that I would never normally buy for myself. That's the other thing I am trying to do this year, and it's really, really, really hard. Now, if you're a person like me who is a big giver, um, are you just, well, no, that would be a big giver. I enjoy giving gifts. It's very hard for me to just make things for myself. I I got in trouble one year with my ex-husband. We had gotten a settlement and we were going to go to the store and he said, "Okay, you get this much money. I don't remember how much it is, so I'm not going to say to buy for yourself." And he'd already bought his stuff. And I'm like, "Oh, okay. Great." And so I went to the beads and I was, looking at the beads and I'm just like, oh, I love this. And oh, my mom would absolutely love this. Or oh, my daughter, she's gonna love this. And he got mad at me because he's just like, I told you you're supposed to spend on you. And I'm like, okay, I am. I'm just thinking in terms of buying things to put in to what I would use to make things for other people. It's like, yeah, that's not the same thing. And it's like, but it is. Because for me, buying something to make that I feel selfish, I guess is what it comes down to want to make something just for me. And I get bigger joy and pleasure when I am creating for other people. And now it's not other people because they've given me money for commission and such. Excuse me, I'm gonna adjust this camera because it is driving me nuts. I felt like I was, you know, tilting up to the world there. Anyhow, yeah, it's just very hard for me to buy things. Now I can buy myself like clothing, okay, or a movie, or I don't like to buy shoes. I have very tiny feet. I know. You look at me and you're like, you have tiny feet. I actually do. I have very tiny feet. I'm a big, big fluffy girl. But my feet didn't hear that message. um, but yeah, I don't when it comes to my creating, whether it's patterns that I'm buying, whether it is when I was doing quilts, more jewelry making, anything like that. I am always thinking, okay, who would really love this? And that's why, even though green is my favorite color, I don't actually own a lot of green in my creation stash because not a lot of people that I know love green. Now, to me, green's gorgeous. I love it. Pretty much any coloring of green, I'm there for. But I don't buy a lot of it because I don't create thinking of me. I'm thinking of other people when I'm buying things. So, excuse me. This year, I said, Naomi, it's time to start making you some things. You can still make for other people, but you need to make some things for yourself. So I made for my crochet goal, excuse me one second. For my crochet goal, I wanted to make me 12 certain amigurumis. Sorry, I keep touching that table. 12 certain amigurumis for myself. I wanted to make me three shawls and 3 wraps, and then I wanted to make at least 3 sweaters of some kind for myself. And that was just for myself. And I thought, okay, that's a good amount because it still allows me to, oh, and 1 blanket for myself. And I thought, okay, that's a good amount to look at for me for this year. And I'm not saying I'm not going to make anything for anyone else. I'm just saying this year I'm going to allow myself to focus on me when it comes to my creating, especially my crochet. So, when I say that this is not a color I would normally buy, I would buy this color, but I wouldn't buy it for me. So, this is, get that out, sunlight there. This is the yarn that I bought to make something for me this year. Now, I'm sorry if you're getting a little bit of reflection in there. The sun is out and my lights are giving me just the tiniest bit of reflection. I'm trying to adjust it so you can see it. But this is the color that I chose. And when I got here, I was like, oh my gosh, I know exactly what I'm going to do with that. And I'm going to use it for the monthly with Judy. Even though I was going to make an amigurumi for each one, it was only my goal. So I am totally allowed to change my mind if I want to. Yeah, girl. Oh, yeah. By the way, I can't snap. I bet you've never met a person who can't snap. I can't not snap for the life of me. I snapped one time about, gosh, 12 years ago. Startled the crap out of me. I was just like, I was trying to tell someone I couldn't snap, and then I suddenly snapped, and I was like, oh my gosh, I snapped. And then I could never snap again. I've never heard of another person like that having that issue. I just, I'm weird, I guess. I don't know. Well, no, I know I'm weird. Let's be honest there. I know that I, Naomi, am a weird person. Yeah, totally. I really want to tell you what I'm going to make, but I know she's going to be watching. I want it to be a surprise. Ah, but I wanted to tell you. Oh, it's driving me nuts. Okay, I won't tell you though. I'll be good. That's going to be really hard on me to be good. It is. All right, so I'm going to put this over there behind my little camera. So, I haven't got anything more done on the Afghan for the auction yet. Um, because I was trying to finish my wrap, which I did. The main one that I was going to turn in for the make along. And then I decided, you know what? I want to finish the other one because it is part of my make 9. Now, interesting story about the make 9. I had never heard of it before. And I guess Gary from Urban, I meant to look that name up. Why can I not remember the rest of his channel's name? I will look it up and I will put the correct channel name down here. And then I'll put a link to his channel in the description. He did it last year, and then Judy mentioned it on her channel. And I thought, you know what? That's a good idea because I'm doing the stash down this year. Because I'm trying to, it's not that I'm trying to get rid of my yarn because I love my yarn. I do. But I have all this beautiful yarn in my house that I haven't made anything with. And I want to make things with because that's why I bought it. To be able to make things. That's the whole point of having it. It wasn't just to look at. It was so that I could create things. And so I thought, okay, I am going to challenge myself on top of the stash down to do this make 9. And I am going to show you right now the pictures. So this first one is the yarn that I used for the object I just finished. So that's just one of my make downs done. Well, once I weave in the ends. Does anyone else put those off? I mean, normally I weave it in as I go. But this time I was just so much enjoying the process of making that I'm just like crocheting along. I'm watching, you know, movies that are, well, actually, no, I take that back. I watched The Terror the whole time I was making the wrap in the yarn that I just showed you. And I was just like in love. I truly loved the show. It was an awesome show. But I love history. I love history and true crime, and then dramedies. I like action too, but the first three are my favorites. um, but I did. Hi, my name is Zoe. Sorry about you. Um, I don't know. Kind of, I lost it again there. I'm so sorry. I'm getting really punchy. Oh, I promise you, the only thing I've had today is caffeine. I can't tell you how much because of my, no, it's, I've had 2 Mountain Dew Baja Blast zeros today. I think it's safe to say that Naomi will not have any more caffeine today. I think that's a very safe thing to say. um, Now I said all that and I forgot what I was saying. Oh, wow. That was like, woo. So I'm trying to stay out of here so I can just sneak the pictures over here. So the other make 9 that is immediately on my list, but it has to wait till I get the Afghan for the auction done, is this one, which is all my Soarella yarn that at first I wasn't sure what I was going to do. And then I thought, oh, you know what I'm going to do with that? I am going to make the roll the dice. And I showed the pattern in, I think it was part 1. that I was going to do. So I'm not going to pull the yarn again. I'm not going to pull the pattern again to show you. So that was that one. The other yarn, which I'm putting here now, is the one that I'm actually using for my Afghan for the auction. So that's 3 that hopefully in the next, well, gosh, 2 months, month and a half, I guess, will be done. The other ones I'm not going to show right now just because I have plans, but plans change. So I don't want to show them and then be like, oh, yeah, guess what? I changed my mind again. Although, as a creator, you're allowed to do that. I don't know how many times I have bought things over the years with in mind one particular idea, and then something will catch my eye, or I will have a eureka moment, and then I'll be like, oh no, you know what I want to do? And then the item, whether it's fabric, whether it's gemstones, whatever, suddenly stop being for this one project I specifically bought it for, and it turns into this one. Same thing happens with the crochet. It happens all the time. Because there's times that as I'm making something, either I decide, you know what, I really don't like the way that's looking in this. Might be the stitch I was using in the project, or it might be the design itself, or maybe it just turns out that yarn just does not work well in that project. And so I take the project. I don't cancel the project. I just simply take the project, take that yarn, and put it aside and use something else I like. I've done that multiple times. I think most people who create, especially if you are, I don't want to say, because this might sound snotty. I don't want to sound snotty, but if you're very creative or you have an artistic flair to you, I think it happens a lot. Because I know I I used to work at a fabric store, and I actually taught classes there. And one of the things that used to drive my boss nuts with me, but at the same time she loved it, was I used to pull the fabric for um making a quilt. And usually it was like one fabric first that started it all out. And I would be just like, okay, I love this one. I'm going to put this one over here for right now. And then it's like, okay, so I pulled that because I love this one. Do I want to go with the ones that coordinate with it? So you'll start with those. And it's like, yeah, that's nice, but there's nothing that's grabbing my attention. So maybe I'll take 2 or 3 out of that collection, toss them aside, find something else. And I might find something else that it's such a small, itty bitty little color that you can't see. But the second I bring in this new color and put it near it with this other set, it's like suddenly all this people are like, wow, I didn't know that color was in there. And it's like, well, yeah, I mean, that's what I used to do. I could do it. I could bring up to the counter. If you've ever seen bolts of fabric, they're quite large, but I could bring an entire cart of fabric up, and all I had to do was lay it on the counter so I could see them. And I could go, okay, no, 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 yes, yes, no, like that. And I'd be able to take them back, and I could design a quilt, um, color wise right there. And I would have people going, okay, I never thought that would work together, but wow, that just looks like stunning. How do you do that? And I'm just like, I don't know, I just do. I've had oh, excuse me. Let me get a drink real quick. So sorry. I just started realizing my voice was going to make me cough. So I got a drink. So we're good again. Um, I don't have I don't have like that formal training like Juan has and a couple other people that they have. I don't remember how long Juan says he has of his training, but I know it's quite a bit. He did it in college. I was introduced to color coordinating, color control when I was like 3 years old. And I know you're like, oh yeah, right, right, Naomi, whatever. I got to go to a program that was not open to kids my age until my mom went and asked if they could. I honestly think it was because she had me and she had my little brother, and I was driving her nuts. And she needed me to go away for an hour or two a day. So I got to go to a summer program for kids who were 5 and up. And I learned how to make, and it's funny, I still recall like a little bit of it. I used to um, be able to make the bulk, bulk, bulk it. I know I said that name wrong. I'm just going to put it here. But basically, it was you pour your fabric, you take wax, you drip the wax on in a certain way, then you dip it in another color, you take that out, you take the wax off, and you have your two tone. And then if you do it where you color it first, then you pour the wax on, then you dip it, then you get the three tone. I used to be able to do that. I got to learn about that at the summer program. And it was really cool because it was the first real time that I got to play with color. And the thing that's always interesting as a kid when you're coloring, when you are creating, the entire world is a color box when you're a kid. There is no rhyme or reason to what you're making. There is no, okay, that color will not work with that color. There's none of that. You are allowed to take a color that you would never ever in your entire life think would work as an adult. And as a kid, you put it over here and you're just like, nah, that works perfect. I don't know what you're thinking. It looks great. And as we get older, we start losing that, which is really sad because sometimes some of the colors kids come up with to put together end up being really quite beautiful. And to say that I still have that, not at the same regard. I'm not afraid of color, but I also know that I became much more controlled in my colors as I grew older. It got to the point there it was very hard for me, really hard to combine colors that I'm just like, oh no, no, that does not work. Nope, stop right there. Hit the pause button, back it on up. Let's go back to coordinating. Very hard for me. I recall, well, Frankie's a really prime example. I'm not going to pull him down just because he's a little more delicate. He's about 30 years old, so I don't want to screw him up. But when I was designing him, I designed that one for my mom, and I told her, okay, you go ahead and pick out the fabric she wanted. And she did. And I was just like, oh my God, Mom, why? Why are you doing this to me? Because not only was it colors I didn't think that would work well, it was fabric um, patterns. Like there's check up there. There is, you know what? Let me see if I can zoom in on the little guy. Okay, there we go. So you can see him just a little bit better. He's got a swirly pattern for his sleeves. His body is this bright greeny kind of weird coloring. His tie is this bright yellowy orange. His pants are a platy checkered thing that I'm just was like, okay, what? What are you thinking here, Mom? And then I made it, and I was just like, oh, okay, I can now see that. Yeah, those actually work well together. They actually complemented each other, and it was very hard for me to make it like that because I've never been, as I grew older, to have that same experience as a kid where you're just like, this will work and this will work and this will work. Anyone that has toddlers knows how difficult it is, especially when they get to dress themselves. Their selection of clothing will drive most adults nuts because it's just like, oh my gosh, no, what are you thinking? You can't go out like that. What will people think? And the truth of the matter is, it shouldn't matter because, it's the kids' choice of colors. That's what they like. That's what they're comfortable in. Um, I had the same issue happen when I created this clown years ago, and I coordinated, and my mom's like, Naomi, clown's not coordinated. They're bright, they're bold. You have to do this. And I learned a lot of my coloring technique from my mom. But when it came to quilts, I was able to, like I could get things done. People were asking me to put their quilts together for them. I'm like, okay, sure, no problem. And I'd put them together and they'd be like, wow, I wouldn't have thought to put that there. And it's just like, I'm just pulling from what I see. And it worked. But it was still coordinated. I'm trying to learn not to be the coordinated, as in it very nicely complements each other, to going a little bit beyond that to where it might complement it, but it's not a color you would think would complement it. And I really wish I had a really great tool for years that I have no idea where it went, but I had these they were like tone finders, and it was green and one was red, and you could put a square on it and it would show you if it matched the red or the green, and it would change the colors around it so you could see which the tones were. No idea where it is. It was part of my quilting. It's probably with my quilting supplies if I have any left. I really burned myself out on making quilts. I did so many. It's like, oh my gosh, what were you thinking? And then now I'm, 20 plus years later, going, okay, kind of want to do some quilts again. But I don't have a sewing machine anymore, and not sure I want to reinvest in that because that was a very expensive hobby. Loved it though. Um, I lost my place. And if you're hearing music right now, I do apologize. It's my neighbor. So I don't know what else to say. It's my neighbor. Um, trying to think what it. Anyways, it's one of the reasons that I'm looking forward to the Hippy Dippy make along with D, because it's really going to push me out of my comfort zone into something that I'm not truly comfortable with, and making a whole new palette. And I love being challenged. I really do, because if you never challenge yourself, you never grow. And I want to grow. I do. That's why I asked Juan the Yarn Addict to check out my channel and give me any tips on what he thinks I could do to make my channel better. probably part of it would be to stop going off like that. I can't help that part. That's just me. So, there, my whole color thing. That was quite a tangent I went off on. I'm so sorry. I don't know what started that. Oh, okay. So, shall we go on to the next thing? Would you like to see my finished object? I apologize. Now, I left this on the hanger so that we wouldn't be doing that whole thing where I'm showing you in this and this and this and this. So this is for the mal that Gina from Knitting Turnpike and Judy from Judy's Creations and Crochet did the make along the wrap. This is the crochet version. I never got to do the knit version. I had planned on it, but I kind of overshot myself and put too much in, and then I just didn't have enough time to do everything. And having been sick and kind of recovering from that has really taken it out on me. So, unfortunately, this is the only one I finished and put into or sent them for the make along video that they're doing, premiering tomorrow, I should say. But I'm really happy with it. I really am. And this is all made with Malabrigo. Now, I'm hoping I can get it all in this shot. So that is it. It is quite long. I don't have the measurements, and I didn't get a chance to block it. But this is all made on the bias. As you can see by the striping, it's a little easier to see here. I really like it. It can be a wrap, you know, just a single layer. It can kind of drape wrap for, trying to think of the word I'm thinking of. Like a drape wrap shawl, not really the cowl, but kind of just covers the shoulders only. You could wrap it around and make it a cowl, a scarf. It's about, I think it's about 14 inches is what I ended up with. But I used a total of, what did I use? A ball and a half of this one, all of this one, which is my kind of purple hue, and all of the blue. Not bad. And the purple and the blue, I only had one skein of each one. And the wasabi, obviously, I had 2 skeins of. But that is the finished one of this. Okay? So I'm going to toss this behind me for a second. Did not put it on the floor. I have, well, you can still see it. It's my cat's little perch area. So I just put it on there. All right, so now this one is the one that I finished without putting in the tails, because I got I got to where I was just like, oh no, I just want to finish right now. So I did do this one quite a bit difference, and I'm going to actually put this into the I did it my way with Bridget from Queen Crafts by Bridget, because funny story, when I started it, I had this completely different idea in mind. I got to where I was going to change it, and I was like, oh, no, 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 no. That is such a harsh change. I would have had this, like, change dead center on my back. And I was like, oh, no, no, I hate that idea. What was I thinking? And then I started doing it differently. I was only going to rip out a little bit, and then I figured that would be okay. But something funny happened when I ripped out. I ripped out, and then I was like, well, I wanted to take out a little more. And I ripped down to the almost the beginning, and I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to, I know the pattern now. I know what she wants, but this is going to be kind of like my free-for-all pattern. I'm going to do it my way. And I stopped reading a pattern. I stopped looking at where she had her differences. And I did stick with the bias, and I did stick with the stitches she used, which was just the double and the chain. That's it. Well, of course, with increase and decrease. And I didn't have a rhyme or reason. It's just different in spots, but it all works. And I actually really love the way this turned out. Now, this is not blocked at all, and it obviously has little hanging out threads. It has a lot. It has way more than the other one because I like clipped here and there and changed the color here, changed the color there, but I love the way this came out. And normally I wouldn't show it to you like this, but truly, I love it. So, this was where I started. This part down here, that's all what she did. Now, I went up in here and just did, like I said, I just added in colors. And this is my, will finish off one of my make nines. And as you can see, it's all different. It's beautiful. It's all the um same yarn from the same creator, which is Leather? Leafer. I'll put their name there. You know how I am with names. But yeah, once it gets done and I can, wear it, I can wear it as a scarf if I want. It can be a little shoulder wrap, which is what I actually designed it for. And I can go like that and be like, ooh, I'm so cool. Look at me. Look at me. Sorry, really have had way too much caffeine today. But once it gets done and blocked and everything, it's going to be cool, especially for those nights when it is a little cooler because it's like beautiful out today. It really is. But the evenings is when it cools down here. And then it's like, oh yeah, probably need to not wear just a t-shirt. But I think this is the best spot to stop. And I do have another make along coming up with June and Linda from, I'm not even going to say their last name because every time I do, I say it wrong. I know I do. Theirs is a Shawl that is due on the 30th, and I have a couple in mind of doing. And then there's the one with Juan, the triangle rectangle one. I haven't seen the rectangle video yet. I need to watch that one so I can see what he's doing, so that I probably won't get it done at the same time. It's kind of like the roll the dice blanket with Lucas. I'm doing it, but it's not going to be done in the time for it to count, as it were. Towards the prizes, that's okay. It was more to show my respect. Well, yeah, my respect, but to support the channels that I follow. And then, of course, Crystal has her intricate shawl crochet along, which I'm really excited about. Probably, again, probably won't get it done in time for the deadline, but I'm really looking forward to it. Don't even know what yarn I'm going to use. I just don't have any yarn to choose from at all, you know. Joke. I have a lot of yarn that has been specifically set aside just for shawls for this year for me to make because it turns out I like making shawls and wraps. I have no idea where I'm going to wear them all, but I like them. Anyways, I want to thank you so much for dealing with my little bit of craziness today, staying with me till the end. And if you have not already subscribed to my channel, why? Kidding. Please consider subscribing to my channel and hitting that notification bell so you know when I do drop a new video. Also, if you are so inclined, please consider giving me, I'm sorry, I'm feeling like doing this weird, sorry, being very self-conscious right now. I think I need to stop videotaping today. Or video record. See, I can't even say the name right. I'm just gonna look like this now. Oh my god, it's just driving me nuts. If you would please consider giving me a thumbs up and a comment, I would greatly appreciate it. It does help me out. And I promise that I will stop obsessing about this right now. It's just right now I feel really self-conscious about it. I don't know why. It's suddenly bugging me. It just is. Anyways, if you've made it all the way till the end, if you've dealt with me and my weirdness right now, I do appreciate it. I promise normally I'm not like sitting there. Well, I do, but I don't make a big deal out of it. You know what? I think I'm going to stop talking. I think that might be the way to go here. Oh, all right, friends. If you have made it this far and you've enjoyed yourself, do please consider giving me a thumbs up and a comment. And I will see you again next time. Be looking for some new yarn unboxing, unbaggings, actually, because nothing came in boxes. And until next time, I'll see you then. Bye, friends.